You're on.
Hi guys. I think we've got 4 schools with us today: Devonport, Melbourne, Metford, and Mary Immaculate. Here we are. We're in Rio now. I think I've spoken to you guys back from Australia, back in Wollongong, over the last couple of months now, and it's all starting to get pretty real. I'm just looking out the side there, and I can see the athlete, or we're in the athlete village, but I can see the dining hall and other areas around us too. So it's all getting pretty exciting, and yeah, for Ryan and myself, I'm not sure exactly when you guys are going to see this, but we're competing on Thursday the 18th, and it's at midnight back in Australia. So we'll see if your mum and dad's maybe allow you to stay up and watch it. But if not, you'll be able to see a replay, I'm sure.
I'm sure it'd be a good excuse for a day off school anyway. You can say you're watching myself and Aaron compete in the triathlon down at Copacabana Beach on the 18th of August.
I'm not sure how the teachers would feel about that, but or the parents. But yeah, so we've got a few questions here, so we'll run through some of the questions that have been sent in, and we'll try and answer them as best we can. So, but just in case there's some new people that haven't come in, I'm Aaron Royle, and that's Ryan Bailey, and yeah, so we're both triathletes at the Olympics. So anyway, we'll run through some of the questions that you guys have sent in, and then yeah, we'll see how we go.
All right, Aaron, what inspired you to become an Olympic triathlete?
And that was from Sam. What inspired me to become an Olympic triathlete? I started as a swimmer when I was younger, and I guess when I was 10 years old, the Olympics was in Sydney, so it was sort of something that inspired myself, and I went and saw Ian Thorpe compete, the swimmer, and a few others. So I originally was inspired by people from outside of triathlon, but then when I focused a little bit on triathlon, I came into enjoy the sport a little bit more, and I sort of looked up to a guy named Peter Robinson, who was a 3-time world champion and an Olympian as well. So he was the person that I looked up to and sort of inspired me to become an Olympian. So Jess wants to know, and your confidence if you fall off your bike, which is a very good question, Jess, because at this race last year in Rio at our test event, Ryan actually had a crash during the bike leg, and I'm sure if you look on YouTube, you'll be able to find it. I think Ryan Bailey crash.
Yeah, you'll be able to find it on YouTube.
So he's a good person to answer this one.
Quite a few hits, and how did I regain confidence? Actually, the next lap down on the downhill, I fell off on the downhill, and the next lap around, I actually led the group back around the same corner I fell off. So the biggest thing is falling is obviously a part of it, and it does happen quite a bit, and it's just how you pick yourself back up. But just remaining positive and your ability to be able to stay on your bike and, yeah, keep pushing on forward. All right, Aaron, Nicole wants to know, what is your daily routine? How many hours per day do you train?
It's a bit of a mixture. We train up to 5-6 hours a day, and we do that for 5 or 6 days a week, and then normally with an easier day thrown into that week. But obviously now, as we're getting closer to the race, with only 3-4 days out, we're training very little, I guess, just ticking the body over. So it changes depending on time of the year, but regularly around about 25 hours, 30 hours, more or less, that we train per week. So Luke wants to know, what did it feel like when you received your first gold medal in competition?
I feel like, I guess, a gold medal in any sort of sport, like when you're competing, and that is a big achievement, and it's just a bit of success that you've done, I guess, followed your processes and done the right thing in the race. Obviously, when you're racing, you're not thinking about where you are and what position you're in. So to finish a race, good feeling, but sometimes you don't learn the most when you win. Sometimes you learn the most when you actually lose, and you can work on a lot of your weaknesses when you do lose. So winning's not, I guess, the be all and end all, and but I do quite fondly remember my first medal. I think it was in a race in Europe somewhere.
I think just on that, probably some of my best races are the ones that I'm most happy with, are the ones that I actually haven't won before. So I think it's important to say that you can take a lot away from something even though you don't win, and I think that's definitely the case in a sport that has 65 people lining up on the start line every single time we race. So we're up against 65 others. So there's obviously only one person out of 65 that are going to win. So the chance, or not the chances, but the how many times it happens is quite not as often as it might be in other sports. So it's winning in our sport is never easy, and sometimes the most gratifying, the wins the races that you get the most out of are the ones that you don't actually win.
All right, Aaron, this question is actually from Aaron as well. How do you feel now just before the Olympic competition or before the triathlon?
I'm excited. Excited to finally be here. A lot of hard work, effort and time have gone into this one, so it's exciting just to be within the team environment in a multi-sport event where it's not just triathlon, there's all different sports as well. A little bit nervous and apprehensive about what's to come and about the pain that I'm going to be in for a good 2 hours of the race. But yeah, it's starting to feel real now. It's definitely real now. We're here, so it's whilst we're a little bit nervous, I'm definitely excited for the race on Thursday. Lauren S., what is it? What is the Athletes Village like?
The Athletes Village, I guess, is a very interesting place. Obviously, got a lot of different athletes from all different sports. So when you're sitting in the dining hall eating, you sort of see all different body shapes and people who are tall, people who are small, people who are skinny, people who are all different sizes. And it's really interesting because you try and guess what sport they all sort of play. Obviously, you tend to think that the taller people do basketball or volleyball or something like that. And obviously, within the Athletes Village, there is obviously a lot of fit people running around the village and whatever else. Like we have been running in the village today. There's about 2.2k around the perimeter of the village. So it's a cool spot to just hang out and chill out a bit. Actually, tomorrow we head out of the village and stay out at Ipanema, closer to where we race. So I've enjoyed my 3 nights in the village, and we'll come back in just before the closing ceremony. All right. Lily wants to know, who are you sharing a room with?
I'm in an apartment with a track cyclist, two track cyclists actually, and Ryan and the other triathlete, Ryan Fisher. So we have 5 people in our apartment. What is your favourite food in Rio so far? So asks Lauren P.
The dining hall here is absolutely massive. You can get anything from McDonald's to fruit to just whatever you can think of. So, but what would be my favourite food so far was actually this morning we found a little baked good, which was a coconut scroll sort of thing, which had to be my favourite little thing I've had so far in the village. And unfortunately I went back at lunch and they had none left, so it must be good if it's going that quickly. To give you an idea, the dining hall I think is about the width of 3 50-metre pools, about that. Yeah, so it's absolutely massive. And yeah, obviously you can think there's a lot of athletes in and out. It is open 24 hours. Yeah, so if you get hungry at midnight, you can go down there for a snack and whatever else. And yeah, there's just heaps of different foods.
You tend to not be too adventurous before the race, so we're just sticking to foods that we're normally used to, and maybe be a little bit more adventurous after the race.
All right, this question's from David. Aaron, who do you want to beat the most? It has to be me, wouldn't it?
Yeah, if it's not Ryan next to me, it's no, I don't know. I don't really have someone to me at the moment. That's probably a bit of a cliche sort of answer, but I don't go into the race having a target on someone's back. I just go in and try and do the best I can. Mark, this is actually a really good question because I always ask this one myself. Mark wants to know, if you could do another sport at the Olympics, what would it be?
I would definitely go to be a BMX racer. They just seem to be quite cool, and the sport's obviously very exciting as well, and it's over pretty quickly, so any mistakes you do make, you are crucified for. So that sport sort of interests me quite a lot. Obviously, if I was around in 2020 when the Olympics come back around in Tokyo, I would love to have a crack at surfing. Obviously being a new sport, not that I'm any good. BMX would be a sport that I would love to have a crack at in the Olympics at the minute if I wasn't doing triathlon.
I think for me it'd be basketball. Have you guys heard what the USA Dream Team is staying on? They're staying on a massive yacht in the middle of near Copacabana Beach. So I think that's pretty cool too.
All right, Aaron, this one's from Jessica. What goes through your head before you start a race?
A lot of things. But yeah, a lot of what I've already said before, a bit of apprehension, excitement, and nervousness all into one. And generally, you're just thinking about what you need to do, especially in the swim, because that's what comes first. And Sam, finally, from this school. Sam, how do you feel when you qualified for the Olympics?
I guess for me, it's just been a massive journey. I left home when I was 18 to pursue a dream to get on an Olympic team, and it was some 8 years later that I qualified for an Olympic team. So there's been a lot of investments along the journey to get here, but I was quite lucky in a sense that I got automatic qualification in a race in April early this year. So as soon as I crossed the line, I knew what I had to do to get automatic qualification, which was a top 8 in an event in Gold Coast. And it was obviously a lot of relief, and I could start preparing for the 18th of August. So it's just been a massive dream to go to the Olympics, and just excited to race.
So now we're on to questions from Melbourne Central School, and this first question is from Archie and Matt in year 5 and 6. I am. I guess I've done everything I could have done in preparation. I haven't been injured. I've missed 1 day training where I was sick. So in terms of preparation, I couldn't have done anything more to get in the best shape I could possibly be in come the 18th of August. So if I do everything right on race day, there's no reason why I can't be at the pointy end of the field come the 18th. All right, this one's from Sam, Aaron, and his question is, what is it like in the Olympic Village? Are the rumours true? I don't know. What rumours are you talking about, Sam? We haven't seen much news from back home. The village. We sort of touched on that a little bit earlier, but the village life is quite good. You have someone that cooks. They cook for you all your meals. They do your cleaning for you. They don't quite make your bed every morning. I'm trying to get Ryan to do that for me, but he hasn't done that yet. But it's actually, I can't complain. I know that back home there was a little bit of media hype about what's going on in the village, but so far we've been here for 3 nights and everything's been going well. So I'm sure that earlier on we missed out on a little bit that went on in the first week because we only got here. So, but it's been quite good so far. Where are we up to? Did you attend the opening ceremony? And if so, what was it like? No, both Ryan and myself, we didn't get to attend it, unfortunately, because we train during Australian winter. We're in the European summer, so we base ourselves in Spain, and unfortunately, we couldn't get across to the opening ceremony, which was a bit of a shame. But we'll be in the closing ceremony, which is quite nice, and we'll be able to soak that up as much as we can. Skylar, how do you control your butterflies?
Oh, good question. I guess butterflies is all a part of it, and I actually get quite excited when I do get quite nervous and have butterflies in my stomach, because it means your body's getting ready to do something that's never done before. So obviously it's a good sign if you are getting butterflies, and I just go along with the flow and just enjoy that feeling of having that excitement within your stomach, and embrace it really, and just look forward to getting out and racing, because as soon as the gun goes off, they do go away. So it's just a part of the preparation phase, I guess, to the race. All right, last question from this school. From Mr. Gallagher. Did you to explore Rio, Aaron?
This year, no. We've really just been in the village. But last year when we came here, we had our test event here, which was our qualification race, and that was in August last year. And we were out in Ipanema or Copacabana, where our race start will be. And at the village now is a little bit away from that, so there's not much in terms of sightseeing out here. We're not in the most tourist section. But last year we got to go see the Crash Redeemer. So if you don't know what that is, that's the big statue that's up on the mountain and that overlooks Copacabana or Rio de Janeiro. And we were lucky as well last year that we were able to, the roads were a little bit quieter and not as many tourists around, so we were able to actually get out on our bikes and see a little bit more than we probably will be able to this year. But we race this Thursday the 18th, and the closing ceremony is on the Sunday the 21st, and so we'll have a good 3 or 4 days after the race that we'll be able to experience Rio, go to different events, support some of the other Australians that may be racing as well. So that's what we're looking forward to, but at the moment it's just a bit of training that we need to do.
I guess we're just here to strictly do a job.
I think this one's from Metford Primary School, is that right?
Yeah.
So we've got some questions. So this one's from Billy. What's your favourite triathlon?
I guess for me, I like once I'm on the land. Obviously, growing up, I didn't swim too much back in school and whatever else, and so I like quite a lot being back on the land and riding my bike and running. So that would have to be my favourite part of a triathlon, would be the bike run portion. What's yours?
Mine is that last 50-metre finishing straight when I can see that the end is coming. I enjoy. I think we're kind of lucky with triathlon that we have 3 different sports all in one, I guess. And when you sort of get a little bit stale or one part of the triathlon gets a little bit boring, I guess, to train for, because yes, it does sometimes. We spend a lot of time doing it, and so we're able to have something else that motivated us as well. So even sometimes you're a little bit sick of swimming, you know that you got running and riding as well. So then you can sort of focus on those ones, and eventually your mojo, or so to speak, comes back for those other sports as well.
All right, this one's from Sam. What is the hardest part of the triathlon?
I think it's all pretty hard, to be honest. But it's also the course generally makes the course and the surrounding, so the weather sort of can make it a really hard race. So I think, and everyone's a little bit individual. Everyone has their strengths as well. But I think generally, if it's a really hard hilly course and a hot race, that's generally what I find the most hardest part in a triathlon. And that was from Sam. And now Luke wants to know, how much equipment do you need?
Well, good question, Luke. To give you an example, myself and Aaron, for this race, we both have 2 bikes here. So we have one race bike and one spare bike. In terms of running shoes, I think we have one pair that we race in, and then we got numerous pairs of training shoes. On top of that, you've also got your couple pairs of swim goggles that you need for the swim. And then if it's a wetsuit swim, if the water is cold, we do have 2 wetsuits here. Yeah, I've got 2 wetsuits. So triathlon does have quite a bit of gear, as you can think, just having the 3 sports. So yeah, there is a little bit of gear that you need, but obviously when you start out, there's no reason why you can't start a triathlon with just a mountain bike, 1 pair of shoes and a pair of goggles. I still remember doing my first triathlon on a mountain bike and in my school shoes. It wasn't too serious at all.
At the Olympics, we've been given more team gear like we're wearing now than you could imagine. I think it will last me for a good many years ahead of me if I was to wear it every day even. So we get suitcases of that, all the casual gear, training gear that we need as well. So we're quite lucky that we're gifted to be able to represent Australia at the Olympics, and part of one of the privileges of that is all of that gear that we get, and it's something that I'll cherish and have for the rest of my life.
All right, this question's from Jake. Aaron, you don't have to tell me this, but what is your race plan?
So my race plan. Race plan. In triathlon for us, it doesn't really change a great deal. From race to race, it's the same sort of thing, and you need to work to your strengths. And for me, that's a good swim. So I'm looking at, and we have a swim at Copacabana Beach, which is it's a beach swim. So being an Australian, growing up around beaches, I'm quite used to that, which I'm lucky that that's the case here in Rio. So having a good swim is the main one, and then test on the bike and see what's happening, how the field's playing out, and if there's an opportunity where there might be a little small group to go away, then we need to work on that and try and capitalise on that. But if not, then it's probably going to come down to a quick, fast run. So I think you have your plan in place, but you need to be able to have plan A's, B's, C's, and be dynamic and be able to change your plans during the race, because whilst one thing you can control yourself to an extent, you can't control exactly what happened around you. So you need to be able to be adaptable and change to your plans in place, and that's what I have in mind, is to be able to have my plan that I want to execute, but also be adaptable to change. And when do you race? That was another question. So we race, like I mentioned earlier, it's August 18th, and in Australia, or Australian Eastern Standard Time, that's at midnight. And I'm sure that it'll be on Channel 7. You can catch it then. Or if not, you might be able to record it, or there might be replays as well. So I think your best bet, because it is late, and I know you guys will probably have school the next day, is to hopefully your mum and dad or someone that can record it for you, and you'll be able to watch the race over after school after you've done your homework.
All right, another question is, so where do we live? Obviously, myself and Aaron are from different parts of Australia. I'm originally from Johannesburg, South Africa, and moved across to Australia when I was 6 to a small place just outside of Perth called Bunbury in Western Australia. But now I live part of the Australian summer in Wollongong, New South Wales, so just south of Sydney, and then spend the rest of my the Australian winter, European summer in Spain, Victoria. So I do get to travel quite around quite a bit, and don't have, I guess, a set place where I live. And Aaron, you'll...
So I'm similar to Ryan. My base that I train out of is Wollongong and Spain during our winter, Australian winter. But I grew up, born and bred in Newcastle, and my parents still live there, so I try and get home there when I can, not as often as I would like. But that's where I was born and train now in Wollongong, which is just south of Sydney. And the last question for today, what is your goal for the Olympics?
Question. I think my goal for the Olympics is just to obviously do the best that I can do. If I execute the process that I want to deliver on race day, and it's a 10th or it's a 1st or it's a 25th, and I delivered them well and don't think I could have executed them any better, then I'll be happy, and that'll be my goal ticked for the Olympics.
Yeah, very similar to what Ryan said. I don't like to put a place on how I'd like to go. I just want to be able to tick the boxes and do everything right that I know I can do. And if I do that, like Ryan said, it is what it is, and you can't control exactly how everyone's going to go. You can only just put your best foot forward and give it your best, and whatever that will be. You've got to just give it your all, and I can only be proud of that effort if that's what I do. So exciting, and we're definitely getting closer now, and only a couple of days away. So it's starting to feel real and get excited. So I just want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in and asking questions. The schools have been great over the last 6 months. You've had some tough questions, interesting questions, questions that really made me think about that I don't normally get, and really made me have to think and analyze exactly how I was going to answer it, because it's sometimes some questions that I don't even ask myself. So it's been quite good. And I hope that you guys have been able to take something away from us and our sport. It's not a mainstream sport, and a lot of you guys may have never even heard of what a triathlon is before. So hope we were able to give you a bit of an insight into our daily lives and our lead up to the Olympics. And it's been nice to be able to share that with you guys and be able to give you an insight to that. So from myself, thank you for the questions and the last few months of that we've been able to chat.
Yeah, and one last bit, if you have a dream, just chase it with absolutely everything. That's what I certainly did, and it's landed me on an Olympic team. So yeah, if you have a goal or dream, just put everything into it, and absolutely go for it. You never know where it will take you.
Cheers. Thanks, guys. See ya.